he was also really good in terms of, it's a very physical film. There a lot of stuff, as we've said, climbing and underwater. He'd never scuba dived, he'd never rock climbed, nothing. And he learned to do all that with our stunt department, our dive department. And the final, I won't give too much away, but there are scenes in the movie where you would think this would normally be a stunt guy, and in fact we had.
Well, in fact, we saw it in that last clip there.
It's all Rhys. And in fact, I was underwater one night and we were filming, and the stunty did the scene, and I went, yeah, it's pretty average. And then Rhys did, and I said, just bring the stunty. He was actually, he got to a point where he was so much better than the trained people that he did everything himself.
And we also, as part of that process, so just to quickly finish, is that we needed actors who knew to be hungry enough to do a really hard job, because this was really tough. Doing all the underwater training. The gags that Richard and Alison do when they do they share the face mask is something that even for professionals to do is very, very dangerous. 7 metres underwater in an enclosed environment, sharing a face mask when you've got to clear, a good couple of litres of air, clear to breathe, and you've only got to take one mouthful of water, and that's kind of it for the film in a lot of ways. I don't think we ever quite told them how dangerous it was.
Yes, that scene on the last day.
The problem is that half your schedule was stuff that you should have shot on the last day.
Yeah,
that's right. But they did it, and they did it, and they did it and enjoyed it, mostly.
They grumbled a little bit. Hey.
If they're not grumbling, you're not doing it.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi, I was just thinking, can you guys talk a little bit about what, in your opinion, or perhaps based on some test screenings, do you think will be audience's aspect the most from the film?
Well, look, I hope at the end of the day it's actually the drama, and it's the engagement with the stories, with the characters, through the story, and ultimately I think at the end of the film there's a sense of this sort of transference of knowledge and love between the father and the son figure, and I hope they're moved by it at the end. It's quite an emotional story, ultimately, and that's really what we're on about. In a way, the kind of action elements, I think, are just the excuse, or the kind of MacGuffin, if you like, to actually tell the story of the son's sort of rite of passage. So on the one hand, we want the white knuckle elements, because I think that's great to entertain people and enjoy the experience of the movie. On the other, for me, it's very much hoping that they connect with the characters.
But action is a way of externalizing an emotional state. You might be in a situation where you're absolutely petrified and your heart is pounding, and you might be seconds away from death, but not a lot might be happening. Like, you might not be running and leaping and climbing and doing all that. But the way you create that emotional state in a movie is by having the characters have physical jeopardy that they have to work against, whether it's climbing a rope in a waterfall like you saw, or all of the other things that they have to do in this movie. Because once they start down that path of having to either explore forward into the unknown or die, then, which is really the whole back half of the film, then you as the audience want to be very consonant with them and experiencing these new things. So the action, it's not action like in an Indiana Jones movie, or even in a thriller where you have fight scenes and gunplay and all that. It's not that. It's really an externalization of the inner struggle, the willpower to survive, and how people either fall apart under pressure and don't step up, or even the ones that do step up and do well just because of the caprice of fate are, don't make it anyway, and what the others do about that. And the sacrifices that people make, do we stay? Do we move on? Do we try to take this person with us? Will it slow us down? Will we lose the entire group? And the leader, played by Richard Roxburgh, he has to make some very hard choices. And I think that part of the journey for the audience is learning to like him and really understand him and care about him, because he's a real prick when you first meet him, and then you find out why. Because he is in and of that environment in a way that they're outsiders. And when they get to the point where their survival depends on him, the decisions that he makes, they question them at first, and after a while you start to realize when you make 3 right calls in a row and you're still alive because of it, maybe you want to listen to this guy. It's that sort of story. It's really about the psychology of survival, about people stretched to the very, tautly, right to the edge of what they can stand, and then beyond. And I love that kind of story, personally. And it doesn't need all the big bells and whistles to be powerful. That's what we're finding when we screen it.